Hello everyone, this is a video showcasing my desert fortress that uses gravity as a defense mechanism. This is the first base I've built that is just completely beyond any zombie's ability to fuck with. Moreover, with one small exception, they cannot even touch it. If you've ever wanted to know about using gravity as a base defense, but didn't want to spend the time experimenting with it yourself, then this is your video and I'll show you how it works. Firstly, I chose the desert to build this because it has large stretches of perfectly flat area with nothing to block my viewpoint of incoming zombies. I may eventually even decide to just clear cut this entire area of the plants growing here just to make my field of view from the tower absolutely clear. So here is the sole point of entry to the base. You'll notice that I left the structure hanging there with no block connecting it to the ground level, and this is the important trick to how this works. So, if you've played much of this game, you may have noticed that zombies will occasionally climb ladders. I've read people saying that they cannot, but personally I have seen it happen. That being said, there is an important ability that the player has that zombies do not, which is the ability to jump. And that just so happens to be a requirement to be able to get up this particular ladder. I have yet to see any zombie that is able to bypass that mechanic and get up there. So, on to the main feature of this base and what keeps it absolutely safe. I've dug what I would call a gravity moat all the way around. I don't know what the minimum amount of distance is that zombies need to fall in order to die from fall damage, but I just played it safe and dug it all the way down to bedrock. It's 3 blocks in width, and that is important. I first dug it out only 1 block wide, and that did not work at all. The zombies were able to stand at the edge and have a long enough reach to just hit the base wall standing on the edge there. So I widened it to 2 blocks, and at that point it became a lot more effective, but still not perfect. They couldn't stand on the edge and hit the walls of the base anymore, but I was noticing as they pushed each other over the edge, they would hit it once or twice as they fell down to their deaths, which I did not want to become an accumulated problem over time. So 3 blocks in width does get the job done. Now, the one thing about this base I would consider a minor imperfection is that the bottom ladder segment is only 1 block above ground level and therefore can be attacked by zombies. This bottom block segment is the only part of the base they are even able to touch. That being said, pretty much the only time they ever attack it is if you're standing directly above the top of the ladder and the zombies are therefore congregating directly below you. It does take a good while for them to break it though, and when they do, it only breaks that 1 block of ladder and metal trussing at the bottom. This is easily resolved by making a point to keep a few extra metal trussing and ladder blocks in your inventory, at least whenever you leave the base, in case you come back to find the bottom ladder block destroyed. This will only ever happen once in a blue moon, though. Alright, sun's going down. Let's do a little demo of the defenses that this base provides. Okay, so this floor is even with the ground level. Let's see what we can see. It's not quite night yet, they're still walking. I apologize for how loud that sound effect is. As you can see, they're already falling down, even when they're not at a dead run. Oh, here they come. As you can see, the zombies kind of eliminate themselves with their own numbers. Unlike certain other base designs, with this you don't accumulate more and more and more zombies. Because the more you accumulate, the more they just pile each other into the pit. And when the sun comes up, you're not left with just legions and legions of a massive zombie horde. They pretty much, their own numbers prohibit their growth. Now, one thing I have to admit here is that to build this base, I totally cheated and used creative mode. My main reason for doing so is that I just didn't know if this idea would even work or not, so I wanted to test it out first. That being said, my little test, quote unquote, took about 6 hours to build, even using creative mode. So as you can imagine, building a base like this is incredibly laborious. However, my tower structure going up beyond ground level is completely unnecessary in order to achieve the pitfall defense that keeps this base invulnerable. I just like having a tower with a neato elevated killing veranda. But the only components to this thing that are really necessary are the 3-wide moat, dug out, and having your entrance suspended in midair. So, building a similar base that is level with the ground would work just as well while taking hardly any materials at all. Just a whole lot of digging. While it does take a ton of time to dig out the moat, I actually think that's a good thing. In my opinion, the goal of any zombie situation, whether it be a movie or a game, or maybe even what you imagine yourself doing in some hypothetical zombie reality, is to find or create a safe home, so to speak. That being the case, for myself at least, I think an extremely time-consuming but extremely safe home base is the perfect sort of end game to strive for in a zombie apocalypse video game. I think it would be the perfect sort of thing for a group of friends to work on together over time. So, I hope all of you enjoyed this video, and maybe some of you will even find it useful in creating your own safe home in 7 Days to Die. I'm really satisfied with it so far, but we'll see how future-proof it is with the coming new versions of the game, with the climbing and vomiting zombies and the zombie bees. You guys playing have all seen this on the loading screen, I'm sure. Zombie bees, really? I think it's bullshit.